Hey everybody, welcome. This is Brendan Fox. I'm here with Rob Fox. For those of you who may be unfamiliar with what's happened, 2 days ago on Facebook, I made a post about Rob at the Raptors Day Parade. He did something very heroic. I did a post, and much to my surprise, within 24 hours, there was over 30,000 people sharing it. So our reason for being here today is that we want to talk to Rob Fox, get more details on his story, get some follow-up on what has happened since with him, and we're going to take some questions, and we're going to talk about a whole bunch of things surrounding, what it means to be Canadian and the Raptors and everything else. So if you have any questions, let us know. If everything sounds and looks good, can you please give us a like, just so we can make sure that the camera angle and everything looks good to everybody. So once again, if you just joined, it's Brendan Fox. I'm here with Rob Fox, and we're going to be discussing everything that's gone on in the past 2 days. We've got now 50,000 people following this story all across the world. I've got messages from people in Trinidad and Tobago and Australia and Morocco and everywhere in the world. I've been getting personal messages and everything else. But first of all, let's start off with this. Rob, what makes you a Raptors fan?
Well, I'm born and raised in Toronto.
Okay.
I've been following this team since conception, and back in '94, before we even knew they were going to be called the Raptors, and I've been following them ever since. As many of you who know me know, I love my Raptors.
Absolutely, and you are not shy about posting your appreciation about this team on Facebook and social media.
Some might say I post a lot.
Everybody who knows Rob knows he's like the biggest Raptors fan. Now, also, could you explain to us your day when the Raptors won the championship? You decided to go to the parade. What was your day like? But before you do that, thank you, Simon Lim, for that question. We are related. I'm Rob's cousin.
Not brother.
Not brother.
Not brother.
I know that a lot of people have been assuming that we're brothers, and no, we're actually first cousins. So
yes,
tell us a little bit about your day.
Shout out to my brother Justin, by the way, just so you know, his name is Justin Fox.
Okay, perfect.
Anyways,
so why don't you tell us a little bit about your day, the day of the Raptors parade?
Well, I was planning this day since the very moment we lifted that trophy. Anyway, so what had happened was there's Justin. Hey, bro. Anyway, so I started the day. I made a plan to meet up with my brother. Actually, he was coming from Hamilton. I'm coming from Pickering. He brought his wife, brought my sister. My best friend out here lives in Oshawa. Shout out to Kyle Rogers, homeboy. Anyway, so we all met down there, and I was supposed to come with another friend of mine, and he couldn't make it last minute, so I hopped on the subway at 6 a.m. on my own and just figured I'm going to make the best of it. We as Canadians love celebrations. We love to celebrate together and share joy and fun, and I love meeting new people. So I went down there. I was at Nathan Phillips Square probably around 7:30 or so. I met a nice woman there, Michelle, on the subway, and we hung out for a while that day, and she ended up sticking by until we got lost in the commotion of the end of the story. But anyway, so it was a very fun, enjoyable day. Everyone's loving on each other and cheering on the Raptors. It was a very sober, like a very great day, I would say. And anyway, so I left Nathan Phillips Square to meet up with my family, and we were 10 feet away from from the trophy, which was incredible to me. I gotta say, I cried.
Okay.
I love my Raptors, and to see them so close and to celebrate with us, and it was so much joy.
Awesome. Now, so once again, if you just joined, I'm Brendan Fox. I'm here with Rob Fox. Recently, I made a Facebook post just to honor and respect Rob and what he did in his moment of crisis at the Raptors game. For those of you who may be just tuning in or may not be familiar, he absolutely did the most selfless thing he could. He put his own personal safety aside and did whatever he could to protect a woman and her small children.
I just did what I would hope anybody would do for my family.
Okay, well, that was so perfect it seems scripted, actually. So once again, we're here just to explore more about everything that went on behind the scenes, because I know it was just a paragraph. So this is for you guys. If you do have any questions, please let us know if you have any questions or comments for Rob. Spencer says he met on the GO train.
Really? Hey, what's up, Spencer?
You might not recognize Rob now because he did shave his beard, and I should address that. Rob, you had a massive Viking-like beard in that post. What happened?
That's my playoff beard. So
Yep.
after we raised the trophy, I went home, and after I'd met you, the next morning I spent some time with my kids. I have 3 little girls, and they've been bugging me to shave the beard. So I let them do it, and I recorded it. They trimmed the beard. But we had no idea this thing was gonna go viral.
Yeah, he didn't even know I did the post.
Yeah,
so he
I
didn't
had no
realize.
idea.
Okay, I'm gonna go viral. I should keep brand consistency and not shave my beard.
I know, right?
So
carried on with life.
give us your comments. Do you like the beard? Do you want him to grow the beard back, or do you prefer clean shaven Rob Fox? So other than that, okay. So and I had seen the post that Rob Fox made that morning. I was working down at York and Adelaide, downtown Toronto. And I saw that he was coming on the GO train, and what
Subway.
I decided, it was the subway, yeah. What I decided to do was for We the North Day, my plan was to take the biggest Raptors fan I know and tell him beers are on me after the parade, just to honor and respect them and celebrate with them. So congratulated Rob. I let him know beers are on me. So I met up with Rob after everything had happened. But and so once again, for all of you, I encourage you, next We the North Day, take the biggest Raptors fan you know and take them out for beers that night if you can. That's what I did, and that's why we're here today. Who would have thought? So Rob, tell us a little bit briefly about what happened with the when things went down at the parade.
Well, briefly, when the trophy had passed us, we started walking past down Bay Street to head to Eaton Center. My brother's lovely wife, Carissa. Hi, Carissa. We needed to make sure she was fed and taken care of, so we went to get some food and some drink. And anyways, and that's when all the chaos happened, and we were actually in the Eaton Center, and I had left him on the second last floor, and I was down in the basement to go grab some food. And anyways, that's when we heard some shots, and everyone started screaming
and
running.
now my understanding is this: you got trampled. People trampled you, stepped all over you. You hurt your knee.
I don't know if you can see,
like,
but I'm 5'6", so I'm not very big.
They didn't see him. So what happened was Rob had filled me in after the fact, and he got trampled in this. He got knocked over. He didn't see it coming. People ran over top of him. And for those who were there, this was a very real thing that happened to a lot of people. And what happened was he got beaten down. Absolutely. And when he met up with me that night, he was aching, and you were really sore the next morning too. Right? And
I was limping when I saw you.
Yeah, he was limping when he saw me. But what he did was he literally got beat down out of nowhere. And then what he did was, in crisis, a lot of times people forget how to think when there's a crisis. That's why women have often taken Lamaze class where you learn how to breathe when you're in labor, because a lot of times things that come natural when you're in a moment of crisis don't come so natural anymore. So sometimes people just don't think. So everybody's fleeing, looking out of fear. And then, in that moment, you decided to look over and you saw this woman and her 2 kids, small children, and you did something different than what everyone else did in that moment. And you ran over to protect her and take care of these complete strangers. What thought went through your mind when you decided to take that approach?
That's a great question, Brendan. I was on the ground with 4 or 5 people on my legs, and I was kind of getting buried. And I looked over because I could hear this loud scream of this lady saying, "Stop, stop, please. I have children. Help me." And
wow, I didn't even know that part of the story.
Yeah, and in that moment, I don't know. I didn't think. I just reacted. I looked right at her. I grabbed her. I picked her up. I grabbed the other 2 children. They had all lost their shoes. The mother lost her purse, lost her cell phone. So the 2 kids and the mother were running around barefooted. And we were covered in food and blood and stuff from people trampling. And it was just kind of one of those scenes from a show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was people lost everything, and blood and everything was everywhere. I heard it's one of those moments, cinematic life moments, where it just feels like you're living in a movie, right? So, sorry, I forgot to scroll down. Jason McCann says, from all fellow Canadians, thank you, Rob. Great story. Spencer said he was talking to us. Spencer, we hope you're well. Bill Fox says you're the man. Danielle, proud of you, Rob. now we got a whole bunch here. Oh, sorry, I've been really bad at this. I haven't really done this.
We haven't been scrolling down. Yeah, so we were just talking.
So grateful, Melanie. Thank you very much. She's so grateful that you stopped and helped this woman as a mom. It can be terrifying to lose your child, and of course, hearing a woman yell, "Help me, help me!" and she's got 2 small kids, and then you step in and then you helped her and her 2 kids. You brought them to a safe spot, and then you found out that there were more. What did you do? You asked her, and you found out there were more kids.
So we were down in the food court. It was by Mucho Burrito. I don't know if anybody knows where East Eaton Center is, the food court in the basement there. So we jumped in the back, or I not jumped in the back, but I walked them in through the back, you know, like where the employees go and stuff. It was like a corridor that seemed safe. And we got them there, put them in where a door opens up. It's like a little area we could kind of like seclude ourselves. And I said, "Are you okay? Is everything okay?" And she said, No, we're okay, but I'm missing 6 kids.
That's a lot of kids. 2 kids. So she had 8 kids with her. So let me get this straight. You helped bring the mom and her 2 children to safety. They're barefoot. They lost their purse. Everyone's got blood on them. They're just beaten.
Well, and yeah, then a lot of people have. Yeah, it was just.
And then you bring them to a safe place where it's supposed to be like employees only. Then you have to go find the other 6 kids.
So this is the part that it's hard to share because. Some people, I don't know, they have a hard time hearing it, but for me it was just natural. I had actually said, "Okay, wait here," and I ran back into the food court area where everybody had just ran from, and I just panicked looking for any kids that I could see that were out of place. Like somebody, you know, if I saw little children, they didn't look like they were with the people or they were alone. I was looking for something out of place. And I found these 2 girls, and I grabbed them, and I brought them over, and I just hoped it was the right one.
Yeah, thankfully, or this could be a really bad news story.
I could have taken somebody else's kids.
So, and I mean, at this point, you got to understand that Rob doesn't know what's going on. There could be a terrorist going through there, shooting everybody. He went out into danger. He said, "Let me go out into the danger and grab your 6 kids. You stay here where it's safe." And he went out, and he just happened to, it took you over an hour. And you went out there right into the middle of it, right into the danger to grab all those kids and bring them back to this woman. Except 1 kid was found by somebody else, I believe.
And there was a 19-year-old kid, or
19-year-old. So someone else found one of the 6 kids. You found the remainder.
I apologize. I'm trying to remember the guy's name, but he was just as much part of this as well as the. I don't know the other 2 people's names. They had cell phones that they were helping and at the same time responding to their own emergency situation. I heard that somebody had given this lady some shoes and the kids some shoes after I'd already left them and everybody was united. But, I mean, there was so many people involved in this. I want everybody to understand that this wasn't just a Rob Fox hero moment. This was we all accumulated together, you know, as Canadians, as Torontonians, looked at our fellow man and were like, picked each other up and did whatever needed to be done in that terrible situation that, you know, we ended up turning into an extreme positive. I mean, look at all the stories that are coming out in the last 2 days. And just one.
Very big of you to honor that this was a group effort with many unknown strangers who helped you out. Many people had to do their job well that day, so you could do what you did well. Trent from Oshawa, how you doing? Welcome. We're actually in a shed in Whitby right now, so we're just down the street from you. For those of you who just tuned in, I'm Brendan Fox, and I'm here with Rob Fox. And for those who may not know, a couple days ago, I made a post about Rob and the heroic thing he did at the Raptors Day Parade, helping this woman with her 2 small children and helping find the other 6 kids that had gone missing in all the commotion of the shootings. And he didn't know it. I was just meeting up with him for a beer because I knew he was the biggest Raptors fan in the world. I just wanted to be a part of his celebration with him. And he told me, and nobody else knew, and I didn't think anyone else would ever know. But I thought it was remarkable what he did. And so I just posted a picture of us, and I made it my profile picture.
Not thinking
anything of it. And the next morning, I just finished brushing my teeth, and I did it. I was like half asleep. And then I posted it. And the next morning I woke up and I'm like, 33 people shared this. I'm like, that's my profile picture. Like, that wasn't a post. It was a profile picture. It was never really intended to be something shared or never imagined to be something shared. I just thought, I'm not going to be about me anymore. I'm going to be about the people I respect. So I decided to make all my profile pictures are always going to be people I respect, me with people I respect. It's just a different experiment I'm trying. and it led us here to today. So we're going to be chatting with Rob, getting more of the details behind the scenes, and getting some more wisdom, just for those who want to hear a little bit more about what went on with what was the good part of the Raptors Day parade. Some positive news. So after the parade, you met up with the husband. You got all the family reunited.
Yep.
This lady raved that you helped her since the beginning and everything else, and then everyone went on their own way. And
I actually want to stress this out of respect for the mother and the father and the children. I'm not going to release their names. I don't want to mention their names out of privacy. They are very grateful, very thankful, and man, I can't imagine as a father having all these children that were in your care, and not just your own children, but somebody else's, and they stuck together, and it wasn't just me. I just was a part of helping things get back together, right? And the mother, oh my goodness, let me say, she was a strong beast of a woman. I mean, with all due respect, I mean, she was just so together, so organized, even though mass chaos had trampled over her and changed the dynamic of this fun-filled day. She remained calm, and without her strength, I wouldn't have been able to do what I did that day, which was help find the rest of them.
Absolutely.
Right?
You know what? And a big shout out to the parents. I think it's great that you brought those kids there to be a part of this celebration and get cultured and everything else. And you shouldn't have to worry about things like this.
Yeah.
I thought it was great that you did that. And, a lesser couple would have crumbled at the seams going through something this traumatic, not knowing what it is.
Yeah.
A lesser human beings would have absolutely crumbled, but you were strong, and you had faith to rely on the kindness of a stranger, and that took courage and bravery and your whole day. And, to me, those parents are heroes, and I just want to say that we honor and respect you if you are listening, that we want to give a big shout out to the parents, because they're the unsung heroes in all this. Imagine going through what they went through. You got 8 kids. All of a sudden, there's a stampede of people. Everyone's shoes are missing. There's blood. There's screaming. There's yelling, gunshots. And you've got 8 kids under your care. You can't even imagine the challenge that they went through, and to get out of it and handle it and resolve it as well as they did. Well, our hats are off to you as Canadians and everything else. That's what it's all about. So now, how did this go viral exactly, Rob? When did you know this was going viral? Like, just tell us a little bit about, you and I hung out at the bar. We had a couple beers. We chatted about your day. We chatted about mental toughness and other things, and we chatted about life. And we went into some deep conversations at that bar, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We're all in God's toy bar. You know what I mean? Oh, man. Yeah, that was a great night. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great night. I honestly don't know. I don't know. I don't remember the moment that I realized this was getting crazy. My ex actually messaged me and said that it was, going viral, and you were messaging me, and family was messaging me.
Well, you woke up, at what time of day did you wake up the day after that I made the post?
I was sore. I think I slept until about 9 or so.
So you woke up at 9 a.m. after hanging out with me the day after the parade, okay, after all the excitement. And then what did you notice when you picked up your phone and looked at your Facebook?
To be honest, I was going to pick up my kids that day, so I wasn't even on social media very much. And I got a chance to hang out with my 3 little beautiful daughters. So that was what was important to me that day. And I had no idea that this was going crazy until, like I said, my ex said, and you were messaging me, and some family were messaging me through my phone, not just through social media. And then I signed into social media, and I realized this is like getting crazy. I think it was at like 12,000 shares on like halfway through Tuesday.
Yeah, and I think my previous Facebook record, I've been on Facebook for about over 10 years, and I think maybe once somebody shared something 4 times. So the fact it's gone to 45,000 completely shocked me. Thank you, Trent, for the offer on the wings. Thank you, Hope, for the kind comments and support. Everyone who's just events surrounding the Raptors Day Parade. So you quickly found out this was going viral, and it was actually our conversation that night at the bar before I made the post was some not so obvious foreshadowing, because we talked about how you know, with the struggles we go through, everyone's life is like a hero story. And a lot of times in the hero stories that we've all come to know and love, in the beginning, the hero's full of self-doubt and they don't realize how good they can be. And then there's a turning point in every hero story when the hero finds their courage and finds their bravery, and life is never the same again. And we were having this exact chat, and we didn't realize that this is like a turning point for you now. I mean, I'm seeing comments from people. They're like, we need more people like Rob Fox, where they're saying, thank you for being selfless. Thank you for representing what it means to be Canadian by caring for other people and being so modest about it and everything else. So now, also, I wanted to say, that being said, people are calling you a hero now, and that's probably, you know, a very new experience. But what do you have to say about that when everybody in the media, social media, radio, TV, and when all these people are calling you a hero, what do you have to say about that to everybody?
I think that there were many heroes that day. It's all the things that we take for granted. There were first responders there. There was police presence. There was people that made breakfast that morning for people on the go trying to get to the parade. I had a coffee. Somebody had to have made that coffee. You know what I mean? We all collectively made this day a great day. It's unfortunate that somebody's poor choices put a small damper on the situation. But I mean, look at all the positive that came out of it. I mean, I'm just one of the stories. There are so many stories that I've heard. I feel privileged. I'm very grateful and thankful that this is getting the amount of attention it's getting, and thank you to everybody that's been sharing it. I know there's lots of people that haven't shared it, that have heard about it from work or sitting on the GO train or carrying on through their lives. And my deepest desire through all of this is that it would inspire us all to do acts of kindness, to be just make a little bit of an impact in everybody's life, whether it's just a smile to somebody you're walking by, or holding the door open, or saying thank you, or just doing something small and kind that would help make somebody's day. There was so much of that day. And I mean, we as Canadians, that's what we are. You know what I mean?
Awesome. So to summarize, for those who just tuned in, what Rob Fox was basically saying there was that, you know, a lot of people had to do their job well for him to do his job well that day in that life moment. And his success was a reflection of the success of many other people. That, you know, there were many other people who, you know, the people that maintain and operate the subway so he could get downtown, the people that made the clothes that he wore that day, even the parents and friends of the family that raised him with the values and morals that were deep underneath, that came out in that moment when his character was revealed. There were many contributors to this. This was a group project, and, you know, his hero status that people have put on him is only a reflection of the success of so many other people involved in this entire thing. It's
a collection of all the influences that I have come across in my lifetime, that we all come across. The kind-heartedness, the looking for a need and filling it stuff. It's things that, you know, my stepmother, Edith Gentles, a sweet, loving soul that has always been there for me and always being kind and pointing me in a positive direction, even when it seems rough or dark. You know, it's people like some of my best friends, some of my loving family, you know, people that have all contributed to making me who I am. And I hope that I can be a part of helping somebody else be who they are. And I think that's what life is all about. We're all just one big giant family, right? When it all comes down to it, we're all flesh and bone. We all deal with our own issues. A lot of them are very similar. If we learn to pick each other up and care for each other with simple acts of kindness, that we treat each other the same way that you would want to treat your own mother, your own father, your own children. If that's how we look at everybody around us, I think the world could be in a much better place. And I think we as Torontonians on Tuesday or on Monday, through all of this, we showed the world that there's more to stupidity, that we all joined together and treated each other like family and all collectively came together. That story of Landon, the kid, I mean, that touches my heart. That blows my mind that while the trophy's coming by, these people are cheering, we found Landon, to find their parents. Who else does that? What other city, you know, does that?
Yeah. And so for those of you who just tuned in, I'm here with Rob Fox from the Raptors Day Parade. He helped out that mother with the 2 kids and helped her bring back her other 6 kids while she kept her in safety, just as a random act of kindness for a stranger. And I see like 1 million hearts here, so thank you for all the support. We're doing this for you guys.
Thank you.
And I think Rob made a really great point that in that moment of crisis, a lot of the people that were a big influence on him, their actions and words and thoughts came through him. So if you've been a big influence and a positive influence on people in your life, just know that your influence will act through them in these times. And in many ways, you matter. The influence you have no idea. And you mentioned, you know, Edith in particular being a huge role model for you in that moment. It was just some things Edith had said and done and just kind of clicked in that moment. And just for all of you, just to keep in mind that the positive influence you have on people, you never know when it's going to come out. You never know. So if you're one of those people that's being a positive influence on everybody in your life, keep doing it, because Rob's success is really kind of a culmination of great parents and friends and family, and he's very humble, obviously, to credit all of them there today. Now, you made an interesting point earlier. Some people have some negative thoughts about those who stampeded and trampled over people and like crushed baby carriages and knocked kids out of the way and stuff. A lot of people weren't at their best, okay? And I know that there was a lot of criticisms about that. And what would be your thoughts or messages towards those who have been kind of ridiculed for acting a little bit fearful in those moments of crisis? Do you have any encouragement or words that you would want to express to them?
That's a great question. I mean, to be honest, I think fear is something that we all struggle with as human beings.
Yeah.
And, you know, in these kind of circumstances, we are faced with a choice to choose love or fear. And doesn't make anybody less or worse if you choose either one. It's about growing through your experiences. But what I want to encourage everybody is that if we choose love, then we can overcome all of our fear. And I think love is what really brings us all together and brings us through these tragic situations.
Absolutely. You know? And I think we're all guilty of reacting out of fear at some times in life. And there's nothing wrong with that. I actually don't have any negative feelings towards those people either. It was a loss minimization strategy. You don't know what's going on. First instinct is survival. That's fine. That's who hasn't done that before, right? But we're all learning as we go here in life. We were all born into this world. We don't know where we came from. We don't remember where we were before we were here. We don't remember who we are. I told you that your name isn't even Rob Fox. That was a rumor your parents started. My name's not Brendan Fox. I wasn't born with a name tag. Point is, none of us know. We're all part of this human condition. And none of us know who we were or where we were before this. But life is like flying an airplane and learning how to fly midair. It's not like we've lived these lives before. You hit turbulence. You try to keep the airplane from crashing. So, you know, when people have these moments of weakness where maybe they run and they trample people and whatever, like, they're just like us. They're all learning as they go. So, you know, maybe at an earlier point in life, at an earlier stage in our awareness and development, we would have done the same thing. So who are we to judge, right? We're all learning and just doing our best here.
We've all made our mistakes. We've all, you know, gone through life choices that we, you know, grow and learn from. None of us are perfect, right? We've all made those choices. And I don't fault anybody or want to look down on anybody for doing that, because in that moment, you don't know what they're dealing with.
Absolutely, absolutely. So all honor and respect for the people that, you know, if you were one of those people that trampled everybody and just pulled people out of your way, we still love and respect you. You're on your journey, just like the rest of us. We're all trying to figure out this humanity thing together. But sometimes consider taking the choice of love and see how it works out for you as an experiment. Choose love over fear for 1 week. See how your life changes for you. It certainly changed for Rob Fox. He chose love over fear in that one snap decision moment. And all of a sudden, you know, he's friends now with 40,000 people across the world. Just that one little thing right there. Who would have known? So definitely an excellent point. And I think, you know, a lot of people talked about the Raptors winning the championship and the gunshots at the end. And I think that this whole thing with We the North and being Canadian, at the end, stories like yours, Rob, show that that stuff can't crush our spirit. The Torontonian spirit, the Canadian spirit cannot be crushed by any of that stuff, because there are so many great stories, just like Rob's. And he had mentioned that there was a lost child named Landon. And a whole bunch of people gathered around him. We don't have all their names and identities. We wish we would. We'd thank them personally if we could. But so they grabbed this kid Landon. They ignored the parade. They ignored the trophy. And they all started cheering, "We found Landon." And all these people started doing it in unison. They weren't cheering for the Raptors anymore. They weren't cheering for Justin Trudeau. They weren't booing Rob Ford. In that moment, they were all cheering this kid's name so the dad could hear her and the dad could find the kid. And it just acts like that we're hearing about now, you know, Rob's story and all these other stories. Sometimes in the darkest times, you realize the depths of people's character. And that's why we're here to honor Rob and the simple act of kindness as a stranger he did on behalf of all of us. We all wish we would do what Rob did in that moment. Who knows if we would have, but we're all glad he certainly did that for that family there today. And we're all here to honor him for that. Now, for you, a lot of people are talking about this as being a Canadian story. And I'm seeing posts and they're talking about this is like a Canadian success story in a way, and it's inspiring for Canadians. To you personally, Rob, what does it mean to be Canadian? What are the values of Canadian anyway? Like, everyone's talking about this is an act of, you know, and I think the one thing is this, the husband actually wants to give you a case of beer, which everyone's
is so Canadian.
That's so Canadian. The husband wants it. So what does it mean to be Canadian in your opinion?
In my opinion, we say sorry a lot. No, I'm just kidding. That is true.
Sorry, you should have said sorry for that.
Sorry for that.
Yeah.
No, to be Canadian is to we all, in my opinion, we all accept each other as we are. We don't judge each other. We all struggle through things, and we all have our moments, good, bad, and ugly at times. It doesn't define who we are in those moments. It's what we do with those moments that define us. And that's what I think Canadians do. Canadians are very reflective. They're willing to look at how they can improve, how they can make our country better, how we can make our surroundings better. And I think being Canadian is one of the most beautiful, precious things in the world. I mean, there are people all over the world right now struggling for a place to live or having to cover themselves from bombs and shootings, mass shootings like that we don't have to deal with here. And they look at Canada as a beautiful, safe place. Do you guys know that Canada is the #1 place to live in the entire world? I think that's special. It's not that we had a special team and a special celebration. We are a special group of people. And I want the world to know how special Canadians are and how much we love and how much we're willing to take you in and treat you as equal. We take you as you are.
And I know that, you know, in my own opinion, and feel free to share your thoughts on this, I think that, you know, many other places in the world, they really focus on the differences between people. Are you black? Are you white? Are you this religion? Are you that religion? All the focus is on the differences between people in many other countries in the world. And I noticed that those aren't the countries that are that harmonious. And in Canada, I think it's a lot of focuses on how we're all the same because we're all so different anyway. So
yes, Canada, we are Hope. We are truly blessed to be Canadian. Just wanted to say that.
So I think to me, that's what it means to be Canadian, is to honor and respect how underneath all these flesh suit bodies, we're from the same universe of emotions. We all have family we care about. We all experience laughter, joy, disappointment, sadness. We all just want to find happiness and have love and connection. We're all part of that same experience. Doesn't really matter. These bodies are just like banana peels. You peel them off at the end of the day. You go on to whatever's in the deep unknown when we're done living these lives. But being Canadian is all about recognizing that common humanity, I think, is a theme we all share. Now, one of the things is this. There's a kind of an exciting aspect to your story because for those who don't know, Rob and this lady and her family had separated, but Rob's post went viral. And this lady had made a post and talked about Rob and talked about amidst all the turmoil and chaos, there was a stranger that helped her and embraced her right from the beginning.
This was before the got viral.
Before it got viral. She made a post about him and said, and I didn't even get his name. Like, kind of like, oh my gosh, amidst all this, I didn't even get this person's name. And so she made this post, the woman he helped. And then what happened is one of her friends, and why don't you explain what happened after that?
One of her friends had shared your post that had gone viral. I think it was at 20-something thousand at that point. And then she had reposted the post and given me a direct message, which was very thoughtful. Beautiful soul she is. And she had also reached out to me in private message to express her gratitude, and that's when I was offered the case of beer and total Canadian thing. But he'll
take it, by the way. I know this guy. He'll take it. It doesn't even have to be good beer either. It can be warm and it can be in cans. Okay, he's not picky. By the way, literally.
Don't tell nobody.
Yeah.
You know what? I do want to share this part of it.
Yeah, go ahead.
One of the most beautiful parts of the day was, I mean, the adrenaline rush of the immediate situation, the circumstances we'd all found ourselves in. The adrenaline rush, you don't really think too much about it, but a beautiful moment for me that I was totally like blown away and made it all worth it to me. And it was the moment when the father was reunited with the mother, and all the kids were together, except for the one older one that was with the 19-year-old. Forgive me, I apologize if you're watching this. I'm sorry, I cannot remember your name for the.
It's okay. Nobody remembered your name either, Rob.
Yeah, nobody remembered my name.
It's not even your real name. It's a rumor.
He was a part of the team. I just want to recognize him. Anyways, the moment that the husband came and the mother embraced him and he gave all of the kids just a big warm hug, and I'm looking at the kids and I'm looking at their sigh of relief of knowing that daddy's here, and they looked at me and said thank you, and I just kind of stepped back and stayed back for a minute, and it was that embracing moment that made it worth it to me.
Wow.
And when they had their moments and settled down, I just kind of gently touched her on her shoulder, and I said, "Are you okay now?" And she said, "Yes, thank you." And then she ranted about what I had done and to her husband, and her husband was just a beautiful soul, and he gave me a nice firm handshake, looked me in the eyes, and said, "Thank you. This means the world to me." And I don't even remember the exact words that were said. It was just his expression of gratefulness. That meant the world to me. And I walked away knowing that everything was safe, and I didn't give it any thought. I went and picked up a shawarma and hopped on the subway home.
That was the perfect ending to the day. So then he grabbed a shawarma. End of story. Mic drop, shawarma.
Yeah, it was like the end of the Avengers movie. They all gathered together and had shawarmas. I don't know.
That's how you end that event.
I don't know. And then, I raced home to pick up my oldest daughter, Nevaeh, and I coached her soccer game. She's 5 years old. And then I met you after that. And it was just a whirlwind of a day and just full of that's the reason why I have this tattooed, for those of you guys don't know.
It says shawarma.
It says shawarma. No, it says grateful. And I think that's a mentality that we can all live by. Anyways, so that was just a beautiful moment to me, to see the family reunited through such tragedy. Those are images that are instilled in my brain, even though my phone was dead and I couldn't contact anybody. I lost my brother, Justin, lost my sister, Wendy. Lost his wife Carissa.
Yeah, you never reunited with the people you were there with.
I never reunited with anybody I was there with. My buddy Kyle.
You're on your own after that.
Said, "Are you okay, man?" Because he heard about the shooting, and it was just, it was just an amazing, beautiful day, all in all, through celebration, through tragedy, through gratefulness and acts of kindness that were all over us. It was just a very sober day. It was a beautiful day.
Those are some beautiful images, and sometimes there's there's been a lot of emotion surrounding some of the events of the Raptors Day Parade. But one of the things I think we all need to keep in mind is, you can't have saints without sinners. You can't have up without down.
Yeah.
You can't have hot without cold.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's these dark moments that enable these beautiful moments to come out and be appreciated. Because had it not been for all this commotion and chaos, we might not have known the depths of this man's soul and his caring, and we might not have known the Canadian Torontonian spirit that was beneath all of those people that came out in that moment of need. And so sometimes, as much as there might be these harmful acts and acts of violence, it will never crush out our spirit, because all it's going to do is it's going to take the best people in the bunch and it's going to bring out their best. You know what? And I think the key is not to let it live, not to have it entice us to live in fear, because then they win. You just keep choosing love no matter what's happening, and fear will never win in the end, right? And I think that was a big victory for Team Love, thanks to you acting on behalf of
everybody. Thanks to everybody involved. I mean, I wasn't the one ushering people out of the basement. I wasn't the one comforting. I wasn't the one bandaging people up. There were so many other people there that were helping. I didn't give her shoes. She wouldn't have fit my shoes. I couldn't give them to her. You know, there was many unsung heroes that day. I was just a part of this great.
And your brother Justin wants everyone to know that you actually texted him asking him if he was okay after. So you sent a text to Justin, and then you did.
We were downtown.
We didn't connect, and you know, obviously the went down. Oh shoot! That just got paused. That shouldn't pause on us. Trying to reconnect. So we have, what message do you want to leave people with? We have, you know, thanking the media, everyone who shared this, making about anyone who shared this. We talked about Edith, we talked about your wife, or my wife.
That's the lady's name that interviewed me today.
It was
give her a shout out.
Vella.
Bella?
It was Erica Vella.
Erica Vella.
Oh yeah, because we can talk about the news. I can't believe it's let me do this. Come on, connect to this. I'm gonna try to get it to connect.